Joshua Phillip, and welcome to the second episode of this season's Read the News. Our topic this week is the standoff in Oregon, or as we at Read the News have begun to call it, Occupy Oregon. It's reached its 16th day on Sunday, and as of now, there's no clear answer as to when it'll be ending. The Friday night meeting that was proposed ended up being canceled because they couldn't find a venue. That was when they were supposed to announce the end of, or how they figured the end would go, but now we're just left in the dark for several more days. There are a few things that I'm hoping that I can clear up about the occupation, or the protest, as other people refer to it as. The occupiers, they refer to themselves as the Citizens for Constitutional Freedom. They are not actually, many of them, from Oregon. Bundy, the son of Cliven Bundy, who led the protest in Nevada against the federal government a year or two ago, his son from Nevada is there, who I believe is currently living in Idaho, and several others from out of state. Also, the Pacific Patriots Network sent some people who were thankfully sent away because it was just another armed group in the area that nobody was really looking for. And now also a guy named Bruce, who is a self-appointed judge of the people, which is interesting, how you can be a judge of the people without ever being elected. So the occupiers, they took over this National Wildlife Refuge, the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. It's been around for quite a while, and they're looking for a couple things. One is the release of two ranchers, father and son, last name of Hammond, and they were sentenced for lighting fires, and then a judge noticed or found that they weren't sentenced according to mandatory minimums, and they were resentenced and told they needed to go back to jail. That is understandably frustrating, but that is sometimes how the law works. But that is one of the occupiers' main points. And the other one is the federal use and management of the land. And in Oregon, there is a lot of national federal land. Probably half the state is federal managed land. But the National Wildlife Refuge is actually a fairly small part of it. And it's a wildlife refuge, which is why it's not open to public use as much as many other lands. The neighboring ranchers do have grazing agreements, and it is used mainly for education, and it's a tourism attraction for the county. A lot of people are worried that it's going to drive tourists and bird watchers away from the city of Burns, which is the closest major city, and that's going to even further hurt an economy that's already been struggling. And now we go to Brian for the advice column.
Thank you, Joshua. I'm Brian TV, and I'm going to give you the best damn advice that you've had in at least maybe a day. Okay, so I've been informed that the advice is hiding right here. Let's say I'm really good at hide and seek, and I've got it. Okay, now, oh, this is some serious stuff, all right? I'm going to have to probably reflect and meditate upon this, but let's begin. Father with gum disease needs good chewing out. Clever. Dear Brian TV, my husband has developed a bad case of periodontal disease. I'm afraid to kiss him because I don't want the bacteria causing the disease to spread, and his bad breath is unbearable. Our sex life is suffering because of it. We have two beautiful is this code? Is this code? It might be code. We have two beautiful children together, and I love him very much, even if he loses all of his teeth at the age of 37. She has to say that. I have explained how extremely important oral hygiene is to overall health, especially heart health, and how his unwillingness to deal with this sends the wrong message to our kids. He simply refuses or conveniently forgets. When I asked him why, he said his mother traumatized him about it as a child. My children are brush your teeth! Just do it! Okay, that would be traumatic though. I mean, like, what kind of trauma could that be? I mean, I'm starting, my heart's going out to this guy, alright? His mother traumatized him about it as a child. My children are starting to take notice now. My daughter doesn't want to go near him, and my son thinks it's okay to not brush his teeth because his father doesn't. As you can see, this is disrupting our family. What kind of advice could I give him to get him to start taking care of his mouth? Well, what's your name?
Gene Phillips. Gene Phillips, here's my advice to you. It ain't herp. It ain't the herp. So, you know, that happens. It's a little worse than, you know, some of this dental problems. You already have the beautiful children, right? Just brush their teeth. I mean, maybe they'll be traumatized like your husband. But if you just brush the fuck out of their teeth, just brush the fuck out of their teeth. Make them do it. Get them electric ones. Get them fun things. Some fun toothbrushes. Who cares about your husband? He's a lost cause. You got the kids. Let his teeth rot out. Get some nice dentures. He'll be good, right? Is this really that? It's not that big a deal. The other day I was giving some advice to somebody about, like, you know, like a sugar mama in Florida or something. I'm gonna go out there, brush her teeth. Back to you, Joshua Phillip.
Thanks, Brian. So now that we've got a little bit of the background information down, let's talk about how the occupation has actually gone. The occupiers went into the wildlife refuge on January 2nd when it was closed for holiday weekend. So there were no people there, so no one was taken hostage or hurt or even really scared off because there was absolutely nobody there, which was probably the smartest move that the occupiers have made since they showed up. They've broken some fences, they've kind of taken equipment, they've moved into different areas, and potentially worst of all, they've gone through government computers looking at government employees' personnel files, which is a massive invasion of privacy. Through all of this, they just keep claiming that you know, the property has been returned to the hands of the people, but the people seem to be just them. So I don't know where they get off declaring themselves representatives of the people and just doing these things, because that was already public land, and public land is there for the public to use. But anyway, the feds haven't moved in on them. It's mainly been handled by local deputies and state deputies, and which most experts have agreed that is probably the way to go. Since they're really not a whole lot more than glorified trespassers at this point, they don't see the need to press the issue and potentially force a standoff where people could get shot, because these are armed protesters. But other people are frustrated because most of the locals, while some of them appreciate the attention that the group has brought to the land use issues and some of the federal management issues, pretty much everybody is unified in wanting them to leave now. They've been presented with letters, they've been asked by local preachers and the sheriff repeatedly to please, you know, you've accomplished your goal, time to move out. But they haven't. And I don't think the occupiers really expected to be there so long either. Considering their demands, it was a pretty long shot, but they did request snacks and other supplies, because even though they told everybody that, oh, we're in for the long haul, they evidently didn't remember to bring any food or blankets or other toiletries. Apparently they were expecting to show up at this wildlife refuge and expected the feds to just have everything stocked for them and ready to go for, you know, the month-long standoff they were evidently planning. So anyway, that's the Oregon standoff. I hope we've cleared up some things for you. We'll keep an eye on things, and I'll continue to post updates in the comments. Hopefully we'll be seeing a resolution to the situation soon, and I'll post a link to the news story down there when it happens.
Dad, where did we come from?
Well, when a mommy and daddy love each other and they decide to have a baby...
No, wait, I meant like Sicily or Italy. But I like your story much better. Continue. You know, let them do the thing. Do the damn thing on it. You know, like, I mean, come on. Cheers. To estates and
later, January of that year, byproducts of those disinfecting agents that they had to use were found to be in excess levels, and Flint was declared to be